You can go organic, you can go non-GMO, whatever the case might be. The fact remains it's still grown in the soil. Soil that we've overused and stripped. Just saying. So, the minerals that are important in our body. Now just kind of take a quick look at what you see in this list. Where do you kind of see this type of list again? Well, let's say you're cruising down the aisles of the drugstore or, Walmart or whatever the case might be, and you're cruising down the aisles and you're like thinking, well, let me go over here and check out my vitamins. Let me go see what they got available. I don't know why people call me during my lecture time. They know better. Got to tighten that and break it down. Okay. How does that list look? What does this sort of remind you of? You go pick up, okay, at the age I am, I'm going to go look at Centrum Silver. And I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to do this number. Okay? Might have to get the specs out first, And that sort of makes it look like that list that I'm, right there like that. This is the reason you see that. Because look at what happens when we look at the function and what can go wrong. It can be everything from something minor to death. So, do y'all take a multivitamin? I do too. I use my Flintstones. Y'all laugh, but it's true. Okay? Because Flintstones has everything I need, and I don't need it to be in huge amounts. Okay? Clearly says for age waking up, so hey, I'm the up part. So, Flintstones work just fine for me. So this is what we can see. No, what that's simply going to do, it's a product that can't be absorbed into the body, so it's going to continue through the digestive tract, which is going to cause the results that it creates. Yeah. Now, the daily values for nutrients. Does that look familiar? Okay. We look at that on foods that we take in, and we think, 160 calories, but this product has how much fat? 10 grams, okay? If we look down here, it's letting us know some other information, and carbs are 15, sodium 170. I'm only getting 2 grams of protein. I'm getting quite a bit of fat coming from that. That's not going to be worth it to me to eat it. Because I'm going to know that's going to be too much fat, too much sugar from that one article for me to take in. Now, when we look at daily values, it's telling us 16%, 7%, 0%, 7%, 5%, 4%. So if I were to take this in, it's letting me know the daily value is 5% of the carbs that they are telling me I should eat. But look at what it's based upon. a 2,000 calorie day a diet. Now, how many of y'all in here can eat a diet that contains 2,000 calories per day and maintain a nice svelte body? Can I pick on you, Ken? Probably can. Why? Yeah, okay, but he's got more muscle mass, less fat, his metabolism is going to be higher, and he doesn't have to worry about making sure the body can be ready to carry the offspring. As the female, the female is going to have less muscle mass, more fat, and yes, we've got to make sure that we're ready to support the offspring. So for the female, that number probably is going to go down to about 1,500. Now that is based directly upon what your body is just simply needing to work for that day. It's not including if you exercise or walk up the stairs or park way out. Amounts can move based upon what your actions are, how much activity you have going on. Now, metabolism, when we take in all of these foodstuffs, remember, we're doing this to either break something down, which we've got to do with the foodstuffs, unless it's glucose, and then we've got to take those materials that we broke down and use it to build something. So when we build up, break down, we're doing the catabolism, the anabolism. Do y'all remember those terms? If we break something down, we break the bonds that are present. The bonds hold energy, and that releases energy to the body. If we build something up, the anabolism, we build a bond, and the bond stores energy. When we look at the foodstuffs that we take in, the carbs, the fats, the proteins, full of bonds. And there's a particular type of bond that's present. Do you guys remember the carbon to hydrogen bonds? Okay? Whenever you have carbon to hydrogen bonds, it is full of energy, loaded. Which is why, if you have that afternoon slump, you go eat a candy bar, you come back, you got enough energy to get through the rest of the day at work, but you go home and you're just like, can't move. All right? You're better off to eat protein, because that's a longer, more sustained energy and not, for the most part, not going to make you crash. I love all those energy drinks. Okay? Look at your sugar content on those sometimes. But hey, I understand you've got to have energy. So what we're doing, one of the things that we're using these foodstuffs for, all of these products, we are using it so that we can get materials to our cells, and the ultimate goal, produce some ATP. ATP is important. We can't store it. We need it. We need products to be there on demand to make the ATP. Other stuff the body can store. Something else that the body is not going to store is those amino acids for the proteins, because those are going to just be used. Because at any point in time, you're roughly 50% proteins. So that's a lot of amino acids that are needed. When we talk about the ATP, this energy molecule. We can make the ATP, technically there are two ways, which we'll get to. But the most efficient way is the one that's made in the mitochondria, the one that's aerobic, respiration. Now ATP, what we'll do is the structure of ATP, where you've got the adenosine and then the 3 phosphates, because triphosphate. The bond that's found between the 2nd and the 3rd phosphate is very moving. I'm not going to say weak, okay, but very easy to break. So what can happen is that phosphate, when needed, can break off, go supply the energy, and then come back and attach to the ATP. So we end up getting our production of the ATP, something that is needed for everything in the body. If ATP production in your body was to stop right now, what would happen to you?
You wouldn't be able to move or function.
If all ATP production was to stop right now, you would die. That's it. So ATP becomes important. So this synthesis, because remember, anytime we hear the term synthesis, it's telling us we're making something, okay? So making ATP. Do you guys remember aerobic and anaerobic fermentation? Yes, no, maybe. I'm going to keep it at a level that only we need to know. Okay? The process that I'm going to talk about is much more complicated than what we're going to look at it for. Okay? When we talk about producing ATP, we talk about it using the glucose molecule. The reason that we talk about it in using the glucose molecule is the only molecule that goes through glycolysis and what happens in the mitochondria. Any other molecule, a fat or a protein, only enters at a certain point of what we know as the Calvin or the Krebs cycle. A glucose molecule can produce energy for the body, for the cell, without even entering the mitochondria. That's anaerobic fermentation. If that glucose molecule goes through the entire process, this part that's outside the mitochondria, the part that's inside the mitochondria, this is our aerobic respiration. Is everybody with me?